What's up, guys, and welcome to the AfterYouth Podcast. We're so glad you decided to tune in today. As always, I'm your host, Josh Cave, and I'm joined by my co-host, Garrett Vess. This episode is going to be our introduction episode, where we wanted to give a little bit of background about ourselves and why we decided to do this podcast, so hope you enjoy the show. Hey guys, so this is our first ever podcast episode here on the AfterYouth Podcast. We could not be more excited. We are so ready to be able to talk to you guys, to share about our lives and our experiences, but more than anything, to answer any questions you guys have and to go through this crazy time in life together. This first episode is going to be a little bit different. We're not going to hit on any major topics or anything like that. We just want to share with you who we are, what brought us to this point in life, and why we decided to start a podcast. So let's go ahead and jump in, and we'll start just talking about our own lives and who we are, where we came from. Garrett, let's go ahead and start with you. You want to give some background about your life?
Alrighty, I guess so. I'm ready for it. A little bit about me. I am 22 years old. I currently work for the city of Muscle Shoals, getting that good money. Not really, but 40 hours a week is kind of wearing me out. Enough of that, though. A little bit about me. Oh, by the way, I live in Muscle Shoals. Work for the city of Muscle Shoals. I live here too.
What a gig.
I know, right? It's pretty nice. I'm currently living at home with my mom and dad and my younger brother, Wyatt. And we also have a little sister in our miniature beagle. She is our baby. She is probably 100 years old in dog years, but
I think we need to know exactly how many years that is in dog years.
okay, so like 13 years times 7. 13 times 7.
She is 91 years old.
She's 91. Wow. So basically my grandmother dog.
My grandmother dog. My grandmother dog, little sister. If that ain't Muscle Shoals, Alabama, I don't know what is.
Roll Tide, baby. Since I said Roll Tide, I am a Bama fan. We had a tough year this past year, but we're gonna get there. I promise. We're coming back strong.
Yeah, we'll win this year. It's fine.
So a little bit about my church background. I grew up in a small church in Muscle Shoals, Muscle Shoals Church of God. Went there until I was about 10, and then we moved, visited a few churches around, and eventually found church in Florence. Florence First Assembly, and I currently still go there. Been going there for a little over 12 years now. I really enjoy it over there. I'm involved in two young adult ministries. I currently am the worship leader for the young adult ministry Refuge at my church, but I also attend a young adult ministry with my girlfriend Aubrey at her church, and it's really cool getting to see both sides working on one side of it and then being able to see it from a point of view where I'm being ministered to, and it's just really cool. So
for sure,
I mean, I really do enjoy that, like, because sometimes, and I love ministry, I've always had a heart for ministry, but it's also nice to be able to like sit back and be able to enjoy it and not working, because sometimes I get overwhelmed with worship and stuff, and I let it get to my head, and I don't really enjoy it sometimes. That wasn't the right word. I enjoy it. I like stress myself over it though.
Garrett out here hating on worship.
That is not true. I absolutely love worship.
we all need a break sometimes,
Yeah. Like it's nice getting ministered to,
yeah, I understand what you're saying.
instead of doing the ministering.
I think you're right. Like anything can kind of feel like a job sometimes, if you do
Yeah.
it all the time. If that's all you've got, I'll go ahead and talk about myself a little bit. I just turned 24 as of last week. Me and my wife, we live out here in Flintstone, Georgia. We're just about 30 minutes from Chattanooga. My wife, Molly, we've been married for almost 2 years now. It'll be 2 years in August.
That really blows my mind. That's
It's
crazy, dude.
I know it feels like yesterday and like 10 years ago all at the same time. Like
I feel like I'm still sitting behind a bush playing a Jonas Brothers song on the computer and not trying to mess it up.
it sounds about right. Did we play a Jonas Brothers song like during the
Yeah.
wedding?
Yes. So it's I had your laptop and oh, it's a beautiful song.
It was
I had
it was Hesitate. I'm pretty
it
sure
was
by the Jonas Brothers.
it was that one. I mean, y'all played that one, but it was actually another one that really got to me. I think, and this is like, it's kind of embarrassing saying this, but like I heard that song for the first time and I like started crying, bro. Maybe it was because y'all are getting married, but it's "Love Her" by the Jonas Brothers.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Yes, it's a beautiful song, man. I literally love that song. I listen to it all the time now because of y'all,
Yeah, you're like tearing up like at the thought of us getting married, like, oh, it was so sweet. And
dude.
now they're gone.
Dude, I'm kind of tearing up right now. It's okay. It's okay.
You're like
Had to,
just the thought of the song that brings the thought.
it was like just the lyrics of that song. It gets to me, man.
It's a good song. There's a couple by the Jonas, but that was kind of like one of the. I don't want to say that was one of the things that like brought us together, but we listened to the Jonas Brothers a lot, especially even in our first year of marriage. Like we listened to them a lot. That's such an embarrassing thing to bring up on a first podcast. Like,
That's
let's just announce it to the world.
it's okay. I would absolutely love to go to a concert.
Well, me and Molly just talked about today. Big Time Rush is going to Franklin, Tennessee.
Oh, dude.
So we'll just get it all out there this first episode. People are going to be like, nope, not tuning in for the next one. That's enough of them.
Um, this is just a little secret behind me and Josh. And Big Time Rush for me is like that's a big one for me. Like Jonas Brothers is great, but like Big Time Rush, like that hits me in the heart, bro. I just finished watching the show for like the 8th time, probably.
I watched Big Time Rush as a kid. Like I did not like the Jonas Brothers. The Jonas Brothers were too popular. Like whenever I was a kid.
Yeah, I get that. I do agree. They were very popular. Big Time Rush was kind of low key.
Yeah,
like.
and they had some banging songs for real.
Oh, dude. Don't even make me play one right now.
Oh, so I guess back to my life.
I'm so sorry.
We took a crazy detour out of that. But yeah, me and my wife, we live out here in Flintstone, Georgia. We've been out in this area for about a year. I'm not from anywhere near here. I actually grew up in Mississippi, just outside of Memphis. And after I graduated high school, like kind of went all over the place. I spent a year in Springfield, Missouri at a school up there. And then came back to Mississippi. And then whenever me and Molly got married, I moved to Alabama because she had a house. And so kind of a gold digger thing going on there.
Look, you do what you got to do.
You do what you got to do to survive.
What you got to do.
We got a job opportunity out here, and it was just something cool, a cool place in Chattanooga. So we've been out here for about a year and have really enjoyed it. Just about a month ago, I finished up my degree at Lee University. So I finally got that finished up. I'm also a former youth pastor. I've youth pastored at a couple of different churches, and it's been something I've really enjoyed doing, getting to be part of ministry. But I love people. I've loved working with students. Me and Garrett actually really met through his church's young adult ministry. For me, it's really been a really powerful thing. It kind of changed my perspective on young adult ministry. It showed me what kind of value it can bring because of the people I met there. I'm really close with some other people, some of the young adult leaders there. And so, young adult ministry has really been something that's been a passion on my heart for probably the last year and a half, I guess.
Just go off what you said. Uh, just ministry in general, not even like young adult ministry is very important to me, especially right now. And it's not just because I'm a young adult, but I didn't realize how until I got there, like how big it is during this age. Like you've got to have your head on straight. You got to be in God's word. Or, I mean, these are the moments where you got some big decisions to make, and so just ministry and even just like community, that the community of church that's where my friends have always been. That's my closest family and friends. I mean, those were the people that I've always been around. And it wasn't because I didn't have other friends. It was just, I mean, that's where I wanted to be. I want to be like these people. They're following after God. I want to have not be like them necessarily, but have what they have,
Yeah.
And so like just the ministry in general, just I think that's what draws my heart to it because of just so much of the community, like and I know I keep saying this. I've been in a place where I felt so alone. But like when I actually found like a ministry like where I was welcomed, where I, belonged, um, it really helped change my thought process and just confidence in who I was. And
For sure.
it was just it was really a beautiful thing to get to experience. But I was able to meet Josh and through Molly, but in that ministry, and very thankful for that because Josh is one of my closest friends, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and
Talk.
Molly gives me a hard time all the time. She's like, "How did you go to this group for like 8 months?" And like there's several of us that play PlayStation, and
Oh,
I
all the
talked
time.
like I was texting one of the young adult leaders today. Like I'm still involved in their lives. And she's like how did that even happen? I'm like, I don't know. Like it only takes a couple times playing PlayStation, I guess. But um,
Yeah,
but
2K kind of, you know,
but
we on
for
that
real, I
tricky
mean,
ground.
ministry has been something that's been valuable to me my entire life. I've known I was called to pastor since I was like old enough to understand what it was.
Yeah,
And God's confirmed that through my life, and I've youth pastored a couple of churches, and truly fallen in love with people and fallen in love with being able to help any way that I can, being able to serve them, just loving people. And I think sometimes we overcomplicate it, you know,
yeah,
but ministry really is showing people the love of Christ and being there for them in their hard moments, and being there with them. And, a lot of times other people reciprocate that. And I think that's what we find in churches and in young adult ministries is people that are willing to love us in our hard moments, and then we love them back, and
yeah.
just showing that love of Christ. But one of the big things I wanted to talk about in this podcast today was why we decided to start this podcast. This wasn't just something we had off of a whim, really. This is something that we've thought about and talked about for a while, kind of considered. One of the big reasons for me, I enjoy writing, and I've wanted for a long time to be able to write consistently, and I wanted it to be in a way that people would read it. But people don't read anymore. So, um,
Unfortunately, that's very true.
and like I can't say anything because I don't either. Like
I know. I don't either. I'm bad about it, dude.
I
I'm
listen
so
to
bad.
podcasts all day long at work. It's always in my
Yeah.
ears. I'll listen to an audiobook 10 times before I read the book.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've had a passion for young adult ministry. I've loved it. If if I ever get a chance, I would jump at an opportunity to be able to serve as a young adult pastor somewhere. I understand how important this time in life is. And for so many churches and for so many people, it seems like this time in life is overlooked. And like, this is not knocking those churches. Like, I understand this is a time in life that is easily overlooked. And if you don't have resources to pay another pastor, it's hard to turn around and do that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change the need for those young adults. And so for me, like, one of the big reasons that I wanted to start this is how can we serve those young adults? How can we show them the love of God? Whenever you're dealing with a really stressful situation, you're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to deal with this. That you can search in your podcast search like how to deal with stress, and hopefully it'll pop up and something can be said that'll help you or be meaningful for your life. And so for me, that's one of the big reasons is just trying to fill a gap that the church hasn't always been able to fill really well. Garrett, is that some of the reasons that you've had in thinking about this?
Oh yeah. I mean, a big thing about this, and it's definitely not. This is my first priority is for this podcast is we want to help people, especially in things that others have helped us in, and we also haven't had the help in. So that's the first thing. But also just conversating and talking about difficult subjects, just different, categories, whatever it is. I love being able to talk about whatever we might be talking about. Like just conversating like this is something I enjoy so much. I'm not a big writer, but when it comes to just this kind of stuff, I'm all for it. I love it so much.
Yeah, just having real conversations. And I think that makes this idea stand out is that like we're both real people. We're not trying to be somebody. We're not trying to
Yeah.
push, we're not trying to be influencers.
Facts.
We just want to help and we want to be real. Be real about where we've struggled, where we've had a hard time, or even if we haven't had a hard time in that area, that we can be like, all right, we've searched the Bible, we've done research, and here's some ways that we think can be helpful for your life.
Yeah.
And I think we both, experience different things in our lives, and I think as we'll come to find out more and more, those experiences will go out to help other people as well.
Yeah. Talking about like just this podcast and like you don't get a lot of real anymore. Like that's why I enjoy so like just talking about this kind of stuff so much because
Yeah.
we live in a world where I mean social media just everything you see on that like it's just people like, and I'm not bashing, this is not me bashing just everybody because I know everybody's not like this, but like as far as like being real, like actually being real, like you don't get that. So like that's what I enjoy about this right here and being able to share it with other people because other people need to hear this. I don't get to have this conversation with many people at all. So I know it's like that for a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk a little bit about some of the topics that you can expect that we're going to talk about. Some things in particular, uh, you know, we want to hit on issues that you're dealing with, but also if you have any questions about anything, please feel free to DM us or send us a message on Facebook, send us an email. We want to hear from you. If you have a question about the Bible, you have a question, how do I know God's real? Send any of those questions in, and we'd love to take a look at them. But we just want to hit on real things. We want to talk about relationships, how to find purpose whenever you feel like you're in a dead end job or whatever, and then answer some of the harder questions. What do we expect out of the presence of God? I haven't felt God in a while. Am I going through a dry season, or did I do something wrong? Deal with some of the real questions that we have in this time in life. And so I want you to be able to expect that going forward, but also know this is about you. If you want a question answered, I can't promise we'll answer all of them. But if you want to hear something in particular, send it to us, share it with us. The worst thing that can happen is we don't use it. um, but we'd love to answer your questions. We'd love to serve you in that way. But let's talk what you can expect from this podcast as far as how we do it. Our typical podcast is probably going to be around 30 to 45 minutes. And every Friday, we'll be uploading a new episode. Our launch this week specifically is going to be different than the rest of them. So our launch week, we will be launching this episode and 2 additional episodes to get you started out, so you're not stuck listening to this episode and be like, man, I wish I had another one. We've got it there for you. And so you can listen to those 3, and then every week we'll be having another episode. But I want you to know that whenever we put out a podcast, what it's going to look like is we will have whatever topic it is, we'll explain a little bit about it, and we'll take some time looking at it, talking about it. But then after that discussion, we're going to jump right into a conversation just like this, and we're going to, explain just our own thoughts and feelings about whatever it is, and just have a real genuine conversation about it. So be looking forward to that. We're excited for our launch week this week, and then next week we will be putting out another episode. I want you to know also that we would love to connect with you. Like I said, if you have any questions, please send them out to us. Just come and be part of this community. We want to build a community of young adults, whether you go to church, whether you don't. Maybe you don't want any part of church. Come join our community and talk through some of these issues. Share about your life, and we'll be there. We're always in the comments, checking everything, taking a look. So we want to connect with you. Garrett, do you want to go ahead and give them where they can find us on these social media platforms?
On Instagram and Twitter, we are at AfterYouth Pod. On Facebook, you can go to the search bar and search the space AfterYouth, one word, and then space it and pod. And so, yeah, community is really important. And I know it's definitely meant a lot to me and Josh, just the community we've had. So we'll be checking out all that stuff, the messages and DMs that y'all send in. So, reach out. That's what we're here for. We're here. This isn't about us. Because me and Josh have had plenty of conversations about this kind of stuff. So this is about y'all. It's about. We'll gain from this because we love talking about this kind of stuff, and we'll definitely enjoy this. But this is for y'all. So, seriously, check it out.
Come and be a part of this community we're trying to build, and we'll be looking forward to talking more with you guys going forward. But thank you guys so much for listening today. and being part of our first ever episode. Thank you for joining us today. If you like what you heard, please consider giving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll talk to you next week.